So here I am at Carlisle railway station, just about to board a train to make my way to London Stansted, and then tomorrow flying to Finland. And from Finland I'm going to be making my way across country to Poland. So hope you enjoy this video as I visit Helsinki, Tallinn, Riga, Vilnius, and then eventually arrive in Poland and join up with my family there. So arrived at Stansted Airport, all the trains were running on time and arrived on time, so really good journey, and on my way now to the hotel where I'm checked in for the night. I've got quite an early flight in the morning, so hopefully get some good rest this evening. So my train that just arrived on is there behind me, and the hotel I'm staying in tonight is actually on the airport. So I don't have to worry about getting a lift to the airport in the morning. It's just a 5-minute walk to the terminal, which makes life a lot simpler. So this is the room for the night. Comfortable. All the usual stuff you'd expect. Little bathroom. Yeah, not bad for a night. So I'm actually paying quite a bit of money to stay here tonight, and I wouldn't normally spend as much. I normally get a cheaper hotel further away, but because the flight is so early in the morning, I just didn't want to have to hassle with getting a coach and travelling however many miles for a cheaper hotel. And nor did I want the hassle of trying to get to a hotel having spent the last 6.5 hours travelling by train. So this has the advantage of just being 5 minutes walk from the terminal. Breakfast in the morning served from 4 o'clock, which is fantastic. I'll need to be in the terminal by 6 o'clock at the latest in the morning. So no long lie-in, unfortunately, but it'll do for the night. So I've made it to Helsinki. Not the easiest job trying to find the place where I'm staying tonight, and had difficulties getting in, but anyway I've got in. Different room from last night, just a small bed. Nothing grand or fancy, but that's okay, I'm only here for one night. And view from outside, again not the most attractive view, but for one night it's absolutely fine. So this very fine building behind me is the Lutheran Cathedral here in Helsinki. There's also an Orthodox cathedral which I'm going to visit as well, but it's a stunning building. So behind me is the second cathedral here in Helsinki, and it's the Orthodox Cathedral. I'm assuming it's Russian Orthodox because we're only 400 kilometers from the border with Russia. So St. Petersburg's only about 3.5 hours away by car. So we're very close to Russia, and Finland obviously shares a very large border, long border with Russia. So I'm assuming this is Russian Orthodox, but I'm going to see if I can get in and have a look around. So you get quite a good view of Helsinki from beside the Orthodox Cathedral. It's on a hill. You can see the Lutheran Cathedral behind me, not far away. And Helsinki is surrounded by water. It's got a very large coastline, shoreline, so water plays a big feature in this city. It is of course the Baltic, and tomorrow I'm crossing the Baltic and I'm going to be travelling to Tallinn, which is the capital of Estonia, which is the other side of the strait here from Helsinki, about 2 hours by ferry. Windy day today. Well, that was really interesting. Wasn't expecting to see that. That was rather lovely. Obviously some sort of religious festival today. Looked in the calendar, and in the church calendar for the Church of England, we commemorate Maximilian Kolbe today, who's a Polish saint who died in Auschwitz, but I can't see anyone else who they might be commemorating. But lovely, really lovely to see, beautiful. There's something very magical about Orthodox worship. And what a spot here, ships behind me. So just having a wander around the streets, and some really fascinating architecture here. Sort of slightly reminds me of Gaudi, certainly maybe Gaudi influenced. So if you come to Helsinki, I do recommend purchasing a travel pass. So I've got a 24-hour travel pass. It's cost me €9, and it allows me to use the buses and the trams, but it also allows me to use a ferry that crosses from the centre of Helsinki to an island called Suomenlinna, which apparently means castle of Finland, but it's actually an island with a fort that was built on it. Fascinating little island, about 15 minutes journey from the centre of Helsinki by ferry, and included in the travel pass. So I'm just off to explore the island now. Should be interesting. Really interesting architecture on this church. These are cannons forming a fence or chain around the church. It is of course an island fortress occupied by Finland and also by Russians, and the church that's beside me is now a Lutheran church. It used to be a Russian Orthodox church when there was a Russian garrison on this island. So I was reading that on top of the tower of the church they actually have a lighthouse, and it flashes 4 consecutive lights, which apparently spells H in Morse code for Helsinki, and that's still used today to guide ships. So here we are in the main fort. There's apparently a few museums on this island that you can visit. Most of them are closed now, but if you've got more time, it'd be worth exploring. There is something called a Helsinki card that allows you to get into these museums at a discounted rate. So if you have kids, this is that sort of attraction that kids would love to explore. Tunnels and cannons and lots of other interesting things. What I'm interested in is who lives here now. I'm assuming that there are people who live on this island, because there is some signs of that. But yeah, must be quite an interesting existence being out here. So according to an information board I've just read, 800 people actually live on this island. It must be a rather strange existence. Apparently this is also one of Finland's most popular tourist attractions, so they're sharing this island, their home, with thousands, tens of thousands of people every day, I imagine, especially in the summer. This is the rock church in Helsinki, and it's actually built out of the bedrock. So this church behind me is called the Rock Church. It's apparently one of Helsinki's main tourist attractions, and it is a church that has been built into the bedrock here. It costs €5 to go into for an adult ticket, which I think's a little bit steep actually, but it is beautiful and certainly worth seeing. So yeah, the church is built into here and stunning really. Just think it could have been a bit cheaper to come into, but lovely place, well worth a visit. You can actually see some of the drill marks, the holes in the rocks that were made when they constructed the church, and even on the inside of the walls you can see that, and they deliberately chose to keep those in to show people how this church was constructed. So I'm on my way now to find the monument to Sibelius. Sibelius is Finland's most famous conductor. Just a few things I've noticed since I've been here in Finland the last 24 hours. First of all, it's a very clean country, very little litter, very little graffiti, which is lovely. But also, I was quite surprised at how early things seemed to close yesterday, particularly the restaurants. For being capital city, they'll be open to 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, but a lot of them were closing around 9, which surprised me. But it's a lovely country, lovely city. Feel very safe walking around. Definitely worth visiting. I would have liked a bit more time here. Would love to explore a bit more of Finland, so it's a place I need to come back to. But lovely, yeah, lovely country. Now, I have to admit, I don't know a huge amount about Finland's role during the Second World War, but they were largely neutral. But this monument here commemorates those that fought in the Continuation War. The Continuation War, I understand, was the conflict between Finland and Russia. Russia tried to invade Finland, and despite greatly outnumbering the Finns managed to repulse the Russian invasion and repel them, because the Finns were extraordinary winter fighters. It was a harsh winter and the Russians couldn't break the Finnish line. So I think that was part of the Continuation War, but I'm sure someone can correct me if I'm wrong. And Finland, as I mentioned when I was recording yesterday, is very close to Russia. In fact, the border with Finland and Russia is one of the largest borders, and it's only 400 kilometers to St. Petersburg, so even closer to the Russian border. And Finland this year has actually joined NATO, much to the annoyance and upset of President Putin. So the NATO border has expanded right next to Russia with Finland's entry. Anyway, I can now see the Sibelius Memorial Monument, so I'll go make my way there. Just found this little robot delivery device sat on the road. We're going to be taken over by robots soon, I imagine. There'll be no jobs left for us humans. Here we are, the monument to Sibelius. I believe these are designed to make a tune when the wind blows, but it's still day today, so no wind. So the building just opposite me there is apparently the official residence of the Prime Minister of Finland. Can't see much from the footpath, but it's a lovely lakeside residence. You can also see quite a few security cameras keeping an eye on folk. But yeah, not a bad place for the Prime Minister of Finland to live. They have an amusement park here in Helsinki. You might just be able to make out one of the rides behind me. I thought I'd come and have a little wander around it. Apparently it's free to go into, you pay for the rides. But unfortunately it doesn't open until 1 PM today, so it's just before 12, so I'm not going to hang around an hour just to wander around an amusement park. But yeah, if you're into amusement parks, as I say, Helsinki's got one. Don't know what it's like. I'm not a massive fan of amusement parks myself in terms of rides, but I thought it'd be interesting just to explore the place for a bit.
Letität mun hiuksia. Nää on niin kuin muut tytöt. Nää on niin kuin muut tytöt. Nää on niin kuin muut tytöt. Muut tytöt. Tykkään käydä koulua. Me rakennetaan majoja. On hevosia parveja. Kasvan vähän pituutta. Ystäviä välirikkoja. Ostan itse vaatteita. Koulun diskos hitaita. Joku koskee mua luvatta ja sanoo, et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt. Et on niin kuin muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt, muut tytöt.
So I'm making my way out of Helsinki now, on the way to the port. Booked on the 4:30 sailing to Tallinn. Just had over 24 hours in Helsinki, so I'm going to put my cap on, it's so bright. And I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lovely time. Really like Helsinki. Would happily come back here again and spend a bit more time here. Friendly city, easy to get around, feel very safe here. As I said before, everyone speaks excellent English, which really helps. And yeah, wonderful place. So if you're thinking about going on a city break, I recommend Helsinki. And loads of other places in Finland I would love to see, so I'll have to make a trip back to Finland and see some of the other cities here. But a lovely place, highly recommend it. So I'm sailing with Tallink to Tallinn from Terminal 2, and if you've got your baggage with you and you're looking for a place to leave it, Terminal 2 does have baggage lockers, so I was able to leave my baggage there during the day so I could walk around the city without worrying about my baggage. So really convenient. So if you need to leave your baggage somewhere, particularly if you're using the ferry, Terminal 2 here at Tallink, and hopefully a ferry will be arriving. I can't see one yet, but it's meant to be leaving in an hour, so must be here soon. €4 for the day. That's good value. Genuinely never seen a shop so large on a ship before. It's a massive store on 2 levels. Looks like that. Oh.